The number of homes and businesses considered at risk from flooding in Scotland has more than doubled, according to the Scottish Environment Protection Agency. SEPA says the rise is largely down to improved modelling and knowledge, though, rather than an increased physical risk. David Shanks reports.
Destruction on Deeside. At the end of 2015, Storm Frank caused the River Dee in Ballater to burst its banks. This gift shop, owned by David Cobbin and his wife, was flooded within minutes. The water caused over £100,000 in damage here alone.
Prior to the flood, we weren't prepared at all. Being born and brought up in Ballater in my early days, we'd never seen anything like it. The older people in the village hadn't seen anything like it, not in the main streets in the village. So we had no flood preparations. There was nothing we could do. We just had to stand back and watch the water.
Now, a new study by SEPA claims that more than 280,000 properties across Scotland are at risk from flooding, more than twice the accepted number in 2015.
So it's not that the risk has increased particularly, it's the way in which we count the properties. So before we only had a single point for any one address, and now we can look at individual buildings and their building footprint.
Talking about water well over a metre deep, metre and a half deep, it really was quite dramatic.
In the aftermath of Storm Frank, Paul Hendy from the Scottish Flood Forum worked closely with the community here.
Ballater, it was a wake-up call for many people. It is a similar wake-up call. We need to take the risk of flooding very seriously. So often we get flood warnings coming out or severe weather warnings coming out. People just think it's not going to happen to me, and when it does, they just look at a devastated house and they just think, well, that's my life gone, really.
In the 3 years since Storm Frank, businesses like this have worked incredibly hard to get back on their feet, repairing the damage from the last flood and making sure they're prepared for the next. And SEPA say incidents like the flooding that followed Storm Frank could become a more regular occurrence in the future, with climate change placing an additional 110,000 homes at risk by 2080. And they're urging people to be more aware and take steps to protect their property. David Shanks reporting Scotland.